Hey guys, well here we have Quincy today. He's going to get front shoes and trim on the back. I'm not going to say too much about the trim on the back because I already have a pretty extensive video, educational video out on barefoot trimming. I left the link in the description below if you want to check it out. We'll go ahead and just watch this process real quick. I'll just speed up through it. And then when we get to the front feet, I'll really explain a lot of the shoeing process. If you want to see this part in more detail, you can just slow it down on YouTube. And here we're starting the shoeing process, front feet. I'm just cutting the clinches here, makes it a little bit easier to get the shoe off and less damage as the nails are coming out. Here we go ahead, pull the shoe, and then next we'll start cleaning the foot up. Take a little bit of sole out and trim it up. Here we clean up the frog. Just trim it up so it's nice and tidy. Very similar to my trimming video. I like to take as little as possible off the bottom. Even when I'm doing shoes, although you do have to take, quite a bit more sole out because you have the protection of the shoe throughout the growing period. The foot doesn't wear, so it obviously gets a little longer. You have to take the sole out, get it trimmed down to the proper length again. Here I'm just nipping off the toe. I like to try to leave as much heel as I possibly can. You don't want too much heel either, so sometimes you have to take heel. This foot has a relatively low heel, so I don't need to take that much heel off from it. The longer the heel is, the more forward the heel is, so you do want to take a little bit of heel off just to move that back. You want everything as far under the leg as you can possibly get. Okay, now we're on to the right front here. Same process, pull the shoe off. Clean up the sole, trim up the frog. And then this foot, I'm going to trim it a little bit different here. You'll see it in a second. Here I'm going to take a little more heel off this foot. This foot's a little bit smaller. It does have a little more heel, so this one I will take a hair more heel off. Just nip from heel to heel. Then we'll level everything up with the rasp. It'll help balance everything up. Balance it with the other foot. Pastern angle and break over and everything up a little bit better. Okay, here we're just gonna reshape them up. Take any flares that are there off, any dish, move the breakovers back. Just really optimize the balance. The better the balance in the breakover is, the easier it's going to be on the anatomy overall. With that said, you don't want your breakover too far back either. You want to get a nice pastern angle. If you have a nice pastern angle, you're most generally always going to have a nice breakover. If your breakover's too far back, then the foot can snap over too quick and you can have extensor tendon problems, so you got to be careful of that. Alright, time to shape the shoes up here. Today I'm decided to shape them cold. Sometimes I shape them hot, sometimes I shape them cold. Doesn't really matter, it's just cold is a little more difficult on your body. You know, you got to hit the shoe harder, obviously, so it is little worse on your body, beats you up a little bit more. Leave it to me to take the difficult way. Here I'm just setting the shoe hot. Basically just burns the clips in. These shoes have clips. If it didn't have clips, I probably wouldn't burn it. Sometimes I set them hot, sometimes I set them cold. Just depends on the horse and what I'm doing. Not really necessary, but looks cool, huh? When the shoes have clips too, sometimes it's difficult to set the shoe back where you want it. So burning the clips in definitely helps with that. That way you don't have to cut the clips in with your knife or anything like that. Some people say it flattens the foot out, gives the shoe a nice bed to set on, which is true, but if you rasp it correctly, you don't really have to worry about that. I've shoed hot and cold for years, and really there's not much different other than setting the clip, and if the shoe has clips, the ability to place the shoe where you want it easier. Alright, time to put the shoes on. For you guys that don't know, clips just help hold the shoe on. You can use less nails if you have clips. I generally put 4 nails in per shoe, and that's usually plenty. Not much to lining the shoes up since it has clips, because the clips seat so well. You just set the clips back up against the foot and it just lines it up. The line up process took place when I was setting the shoes hot. You'll see here that I kind of swiped the nail, the outside of the nail with my thumb there. That just double checks that I'm putting the nail in properly. The nails can go in 2 ways, and if you pick the wrong one, it's going to drive into the foot instead of out of the foot, and that is a bad thing. The end of the nail, the very tip, has a bevel on it, and that's what makes the nail come out. The angle you put the nail on and how hard or soft you hit it will determine when it comes out. The harder you hit it, the quicker it comes out. The softer you hit it, obviously, the longer it takes to come out. That's a clinch block. That just sets the nails and tightens the shoe. Placement of the shoe is extremely important. You want to make sure to set it back. It's too far forward, you're going to have breakover problems. The foot's going to run forward more if you have the shoe more forward, because the foot will grow towards the support. So if you set your shoe way up towards the front of the toe, then that foot is going to reach for that support and the toe is going to run forward on you. Once it runs forward, that's going to cause a dish, and a dish is not good. A dished foot is a weak foot because it's a stretched foot. It's not natural. So you definitely want to keep your shoes back. With that said, you don't want them too far back either, because then that foot's going to snap over too quick. It's a fine line. Again, just pastern angle is what you want on the finished product. Alright, here we're starting the clinching and finish process. Here I'm just squaring off the ends of the nails. It just makes for a neater clinch. And then this is what's called a gouge. This just creates a little pocket underneath the nail, so when you bend the nail over, the nail falls into that pocket. That way when you're filing the nail off, it doesn't take all the clinch off. Makes for a stronger clinch. Also, the clinch is perfectly smooth afterwards instead of rough. So these are clinchers. These bend the nail over and just set it into that pocket. Tightens everything up. And we just rasp them off nice and smooth. And then after we hit them with the sander, and that really smooths them out. You could run a pair of nylons over them and it wouldn't rip it. Then after we get everything smooth, I just like to take your regular everyday wood putty, wood filler, and just fill the old nail holes in. Just helps prevent mud and crap and all that from getting in there and splitting the hoof. I think it helps. Cosmetically, it doesn't look great after I put it in there, but it'll wear off. The outside part will wear off, and then the other stuff will stay in the holes. And then, of course, here we just repeat the process. And there you get your finished product. Really nice straight line on the pastern there, all the way from the fetlock joint to the ground. Same with that one. They're all matched up and balanced really well. They look pretty good. Pretty happy with it. I think he's going to be happy with it as well. There you see a little bruise on that foot. That's just superficial. It's no big deal. Same with that foot. Nice straight line. That's what you want. No flares, no dishes. Looks really good. Thanks, big guy.